Playing on a Budget is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the best Magic the Gathering singles and sealed retailer on the internet, GatheringMagic.com, your #1 source for Magic the Gathering news and content, and RogueDeckBuilder.com, my personal channel filled with innovative and entertaining Magic the Gathering rogue brews. Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com with this week's episode of Playing on a Budget. We're going to go back to about a month ago when I played the Green-White Warriors deck. You can go check the entire video series for that. And I'm going to be replaying that deck with a few changes that I think are going to make this deck a lot more explosive. So yes, this is a repeat of another Playing on a Budget, but it's just a card that I've been messing around with a while, being the Silverfur Partisan. I wanted to show you the red version that I run, more of a werewolf tribal deck that I have with Silverfur Partisan, and just a bunch of pump spells or just cantrip type spells to really get a lot of value out of the Silverfur Partisan. But I'm thinking that we're just missing a few wolves or werewolves to really make that fit. So I'm going to try one more time for this Warriors theme. This time we're going to try a full playset of Surrak the Huntcaller, so that's the biggest difference between the list before, as well as we're adding a few Gryff's Boon, as these cards in testing have been phenomenal. Now this deck runs very similar to the humans-based strategies or even the other aggressive white creature-based strategies. The advantage this has, though, is that the Arashin Foremost is just insanely powerful if you get the right curve. So it works perfectly with both Dromoka Warrior and Den Protector. A lot of people have been questioning why I use the Dromoka Warrior over the plethora of other 2-drops you can use. Basically, it's the best card to hook up with the Arashin Foremost with the double strike. The extra 2 points of damage over the Vigilance Warrior or even the Hidden Dragonslayer I think is worth it. But the main reason that we're running the Dromoka Warrior in this one is it pairs very well with Surrak the Huntcaller. So if you have a Dromoka Warrior, just a Dromoka Warrior, and then draw into a Surrak the Huntcaller, you can give Surrak haste, which is huge in this deck. So we're trying to kill them on turn 4. That's ideal. If not, we're trying to get them to the lethal point by turn 4, turn 5, and then try to rely on our top decks with a hasted Surrak to get in that last bit of damage. So I'm still going to run the 4 Dragon Hunters. I think they're the best 1-drop for us to run. I don't think that we necessarily need to run a Warrior at the 1-drop. We do need to apply some pressure. This is a slot that I could easily put like a Kytheon in or another card at the, like even a Throbbing Inspector. People have asked why Always Watching isn't in the deck. Always Watching I think works a lot better with 1s and 2-drops, not 3s and 4s, as our 3 slot is pretty much full at this point with the Silverfur Partisan, the Arashin Foremost. So this deck has a nice curve. A curve is very important right now, especially in this metagame, because you do want to have some action on your turn 1 and 2, and then your turn 3 and 4, you need to have the cards be very representative of finishers. And I think that the Arashin Foremost and the Surrak the Huntcaller are 2 of the most aggressive cards that we have access to. What's really fun about these 2 cards as well is they pair pretty good with each other. The Arashin Foremost does not turn on the Surrak the Huntcaller with only 2 power, but the Surrak can give the Arashin Foremost haste, and the Arashin Foremost in that exact same turn can give Surrak, like if you top deck one after you've played a Surrak, can give the Surrak double strike. And so into an open board, that is very powerful. One of the reasons we're not running Collected Company is we're just under the amount of cards that I like to run. Creatures, I like to have at least 20, I would say between 20 and 30 targets for the Collected Company. And also, Collected Company works better with, like, I don't know, I think a lot heavier Enter the Battlefield type effects. And, like, even Den Protector is kind of weird to get off of the Collected Company. But with this deck, you can't hit Surrak with Collected Company, which is going to be our most important card. So we're already missing on one of the cards that we'd love to hit with the Collected Company. And then that brings our total creature count down to about 24 that it could hit. And then we wouldn't want to hit Den Protector, so you're down to like 20 targets with the Collected Company. So that's the reason I don't like it in the deck. And plus, this is playing on a budget, and I don't think that packing a $26 card in playing on a budget is smart. So good news is these cards are dirt cheap. Arashin Foremost and Surrak are both very, very inexpensive. The Den Protectors are actually bottomed out pretty low, and same with Dromoka's Command, because these are all cards that will be rotating in the near future. So there is that aspect to the deck where if you're looking for like a long-term deck, this probably isn't the deck for you. Other than that, I do want to say that I think that Silverfur Partisan hasn't seen its glory days yet, and the Duskwatch Recruiter continues to be one of the most played cards in the standard set. So I think that if you did invest, the mana base is fine. That doesn't rotate for a while. And you at least have the Duskwatch Recruiter and the Silverfur Partisan. And it's not too much skin off your teeth to invest in the rest of the pieces. So onto the sideboard, we're going to run a kind of mix of Stasis Snare and Silkwrap. Declaration of Stone would probably be the better route here, but again, since this is a budget list, we're not going to include it. The 4 of Hidden Dragonslayers are really good at taking care of the larger creatures in the format. They do hit creatures with power 4 or greater, which is, unfortunately, I wish it would say 3 because we need to hit Kalatas. Kalatas is very annoying with this deck, especially in a heavy control build with Kalatas, but there is plenty of targets still that Hidden Dragonslayer can hit. The Center Soul will bring in versus, basically, this is in here for Grasp of Darkness decks. As a way to protect our creatures. What makes Center Soul really fun is you can give a creature protection and the next turn give it basically unblockable. So you protect your guy from a Grasp of Darkness, and then next turn make it so Kalatas can't block it, and then hopefully swing in for like Arashin Foremost Double Strike. I used to have these in the main board, but I found that I didn't want to be playing the like reaction type strategy. I'd want to always be tapped out of mana, like turn 1 a Dragon Hunter, turn 2 Dromoka's Warrior, turn 3 Arashin Foremost, turn 4 Surrak would be ideal, or on my own combat phase, that's when I'm running Dromoka's Command and Titanic Growth to try to push in even more damage. So I think that also another card that seems interesting in this is Death Mist Raptor. We have ways to get it back through both Den Protector and Hidden Dragonslayer, but I decided not to include Death Mist Raptor because it still is a little bit expensive, and we're pushing that budget here. The other cards that I have in this are Tandem Tactics. This is just great in the mirror against any sort of like warriors or tokens. This is fun when they block your creatures or you block their creatures, and then you can save 2 of your creatures and kill 2 of theirs. And the gain 2 life is also very, very useful. I just think it's a matter of time before some sort of red aggro strategy comes to the forefront. Unfortunately, I think the red is missing some pieces right now, one of them being a 3 damage spell for either 1 or 2 mana. I think that has always been key to a successful red strategy, and we just don't have one in the format at the moment. So I'm thinking with Eldritch Moon, I think that the black-red aggro is probably going to get better. They'll probably get another vampire or werewolf or something that can fit in that slot. So when that does happen, I think Tandem Tactics is even going to be more of an all-star, as it also has the ability to protect your creatures against damage-based spells. Or what I've done with Tandem Tactics is actually protected like something against a Grasp of Darkness. It'd have to have 3 toughness, though, is the problem, and most of our cards in this deck have 2 toughness. But you can protect a Surrak at least, or like if Arashin Foremost does have a Dromoka's Command counter on it, that's another way that you can protect against that grasp. So Clipwings are basically in here for the Westvale Abbey and the Archangel of Ties, as well as Avacyn. So Clipwings, you bring them in versus those particular. There's also a few other flying creatures. Every once in a while you'll see in the format. This is the best way to get rid of them. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. Nothing too fancy with that card. So we've seen some matchups with it. I think we went 3-2 last time, 2-2 on the channel, and then I think I won my match that I played. We'll see if we can beat that this time, see if we can make this a legitimate deck. And I highly, highly encourage this if you are a new player. I think it's incredibly inexpensive to get into these cards. The only one that's hard to come by is a Duskwatch Recruiter. But the rest of the cards, I mean, if you take out the whole reasoning that I am running the green-white strategy is the Dromoka's Command, but it's a card that I think that it sees play every now and again in Modern. So if you're a new player looking even to wet your feet into Modern, it's not a bad card to pick up. And the Hate Bears decks loves Dromoka's Command. There's a few other decks that I've seen splash it in. I've even seen Abzan throw in Dromoka's Command before in Modern, so it's not like a waste of money if you pick it up. And all the rest of these cards are just dirt cheap. So we're gonna give this another go and see how well this does. This is Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Playing on a Budget. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Gathering Magic and check out our Playing on a Budget playlist, which contains every episode. Thanks again and hope to see you soon.